I want to thank Felipe today. He's going to join us and tell us a little bit about his business. So, Felipe, tell us, what do you do?
Well, we cater to entrepreneurs and executives. We build custom luxury homes for them.
How long have you been an entrepreneur?
Well, it's been an evolving entrepreneur since 1999. Started tiling back then, so it's been evolving from tile to renovations to home building, right?
How did you go from being a tile installer, a tile contractor to building high-end custom homes? That's an evolution.
Well, there's a bit of a backstory, kind of interesting. I played music a lot, and I was in a band and toured, across Canada and the U.S. And I used to come back, and when I had a break, I worked with a friend of mine, Josh, which owns Engage Building Products, and we used to tile together. So he taught me how to tile, and one day he said, "Hey, I'm going to go work for Hardy Backer," and I'm like, "Oh, so I don't have a job anymore?" He goes, "No, you have a business now, not a job." So he says, "You can do this." So I went to my mom and I said, "Hey, can I borrow your don't pay for 6 months Home Depot card?" And she goes, "Absolutely." So I went there and got some tools and got my first job, paid off the card in 30 days and took off from there, right?
Wow, wow. So
Yeah.
so you've scaled. Obviously, you've scaled. What's the best year you've had now since you've been in business?
I think actually right now, I mean, we have $35 million worth of work right now, which is not in 1 year. It's a 2 year process. In this year, we grossed 13.6 million.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. You've scaled a lot. What would you say has been the biggest challenge and success regarding scaling?
Oh, scaling is fun. We go to the school of hard knocks. It's funny because every trade that knows, their trade, because they know their trade, they go, "I'm going to start a business." But the part they miss is that when you say that, you're no longer a trade, you're now a business owner. And they forget to actually learn business,
Right,
right?
right.
That's the biggest fault I think that we all did at the beginning, where, hey, I'm a tile setter, I'm going to start a tiling company, not knowing your numbers, not understanding marketing, not knowing anything. Just because you know how to tile doesn't mean you have a business, right? So one of the things I would say is like, hey, learn the business. If you're a trade, if you're a drywaller, if you're a framer, and you decide that, hey, I'm going to start my own business, you need to learn to put your tools down and learn to run your business, not learn to drywall or frame.
You've scaled a lot. What would you say has been the biggest challenge and success regarding scaling?
Oh, scaling is fun. We go to the school of hard knocks. It's funny because every trade that knows, their trade, because they know their trade, they go, "I'm going to start a business." But the part they miss is that when you say that, you're no longer a trade, you're now a business owner. And they forget to actually learn business,
Right,
right?
right.
That's the biggest fault I think that we all did at the beginning, where, hey, I'm a tile setter, I'm going to start a tiling company, not knowing your numbers, not understanding marketing, not knowing anything. Just because you know how to tile doesn't mean you have a business, right? So one of the things I would say is like, hey, learn the business. If you're a trade, if you're a drywaller, if you're a framer, and you decide that, hey, I'm going to start my own business, you need to learn to put your tools down and learn to run your business, not learn to drywall or frame.
From tile to, a custom home builder. What's the best financial advice you've ever received?
Know your numbers.
Know your numbers. And
Know your numbers.
which numbers? What part of that do you think is the most important? What would you tell a new builder starting out? Focus on this.
Know your number. 911. When you're in trouble, call it. No, what I mean by that is know your numbers. So, for example, a lot of guys, okay, I'll give you an example for me when I was tiling. I would go and quote a job, and everyone said that it was $3 a square foot back then to set tile. So, what do? I go to a job, I look at it, and I go and quote $3 a square foot, not understanding what my overhead percentage was, not understanding if I was making a profit. Even when I started construction, everyone's like, "Oh, cost plus 10%." And I was like, "Well, that's what everybody does. So I'm just going to charge you cost plus 10%." But they don't understand. Number one, it can be cost plus 10%, but is that 10%, what does that cover? It shouldn't cover
Right.
anything. It's your pure profit, right? And then you have to know your overhead number. So when you're quoting a job, you have to understand your construction costs completely. You have to understand what your overhead is, and then you apply the profitability that you're looking for, right? So those three together is a combination of, a successful business. If you don't know those numbers quarterly, because your overhead changes every quarter, your next job you estimate is going to be wrong, right?
No, that's an
So then
excellent point.
and if you're a construction guy like me that takes a project that's a year or 2 years long, and I quote a project wrong now, I'm in trouble for 2 years, right?
Right,
And
right, right.
and not even that, it's burn ratio per day. You have to understand that to take into account on your estimate what your number should be. And after that, you have to manage that properly and schedule it properly so that you don't go over. And then your schedule is actually killing your budget because you took too long. That's
Everything you've learned going through this process and growing your business, if you had to do a 60-second masterclass teaching a new builder, an existing builder who wants to scale, what advice would you give them if you were starting out or if you were in that position today, based on what you've learned so far? What would you do differently?
so number one, I would tell them, don't take a job that you don't like. You have to love your job. Once you love that job, dive into your business, know your numbers, know how it works before you start engaging with clients. Create your processes and systems, drive your client through smoothly through your project, and you'll always succeed. It'll be a wheel that just keeps on turning on its own.
No, that's nice. That's nice. I love that. So I
Yeah.
appreciate your time today, Filipe. It's great to meet you. It's great to learn more about your business, and congratulations on all the success. I love the
Thank you,
fact that you've
man.
gone from a tile guy to a custom home builder. That is awesome.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks, man.